Kid and the guys later on in the programme. But right now we're going to go back to Jeffrey Lewis and Co. Hello.
Hi.
So tonight you've got a gig at Yes in Manchester.
Yeah.
And you're due on at 9 o'clock. But if you're late, it might be a little bit later than that, in which case I will see more of your set. So you can probably see where I'm going to go now. But with that in mind, Jeffrey...
Yes, Mark.
If we can go back to the very beginning, where and when did your mum and dad meet?
Oh, my mom and dad met in the 60s in Greece, according to family legend. They're both from Brooklyn. They had known each other briefly in Brooklyn, but they crossed paths in Greece in the 60s for countercultural 60s reasons. My mom was traveling in Europe, needed an abortion. The only place she could get one at that time apparently was Israel, so she went there, hung out there for a while, and was starting to make her way through other travels after that. My dad was avoiding the draft. He had gone to Africa for a bit and was just traveling around, staying out of the U.S. for a while himself. They bumped into each other in Greece and had both known each other previously from Brooklyn College, and they've been hanging out ever since.
You know, I mean, it had to happen one day. I was just going to ask you that question just kind of for a little bit of a joke, but I've stumbled across a great question with a great answer, and so I'm very happy about that. But can you tell me, just staying with your mum and dad for a moment, were they part of the counterculture scene in New York, the Fugs and all that kind of stuff? Because obviously you work with Peter Stampfel.
Yeah, well, that's how I discovered the Fugs. Was I had their first album was in my parents' record collection, a very scratchy, beat-up version, from 1965. They had been seeing Fugs shows in the neighborhood, and I guess they picked up that record at some point.
Wow.
And it was just very mysterious to me. I was like, what is this? It was the weirdest thing I'd ever heard.
It was fate. That's what it was, mate, absolutely. So am I right in saying that you've just finished a Scottish jaunt?
Yes, I was up in Scotland. James Yorkston had invited me along on this little tour that he put together with Catherine Joseph and Josie Long. It was just, four of us in a van, and Josie brought along her little 9-month-old baby, Sadie. So it was quite a little tour of Scotland there with the baby and everybody. It was super, super fun. Amazing.
It sounds idyllic. I mean, when Catherine came in, we read out the tour dates, and you were just going to all these little villages, weren't you? And I imagine it was wonderful for you.
Yeah, and you won't even believe this. The sun was out every day. We had sunshine the entire tour.
You're joking.
No, it's I don't know. We just lucked out. Got to go to Shetland and saw some Shetland ponies, and that was very pleasant.
Wow. I mean, I've been to Shetland, and I know that there's whales and all sorts knocking about off the coast there, and you just saw some ponies. I don't think you were trying hard enough. No offence.
No, we weren't trying very hard. They just put those Shetland ponies right when you arrive at the airport. It's like they know what the tourists want to see.
What are you going to Shetland for? To see a pony? There's one. Excellent. Okay, so just generally speaking, how was your pandemic? Because of course we were when we were in lockdown and I was doing programmes from the bedroom, we were playing your pan demos. You very kindly sent them to just a handful of people, and I was on your list, so thanks for that. But you kind of turned it in your favour in one tiny little way, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I was making a lot of songs. I was working on comic books and various other projects. I mean, it was a generally miserable, not great time, but I guess the thing is you can't really complain about it because everybody went through it also, so you can't even just be like, this terrible thing happened to me, because every single person on Earth has gone through that the last couple of years, and to some degree we're still going through it, and we're just emerging from. I'm just so pleased to be here now. I still can't even believe that I've made it back to this side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, no, well, mutual, mate. And also, I mean, you're known as a great social commentator, and pandemic aside, there's been a lot going on in America, well, everywhere probably, but over the last 3 years, as I say, pandemic aside. And so was that kind of a fuel for you as well, going through it all?
Yeah, I mean, my anxiety doesn't usually need that much fuel. It's kind of like more than enough, but at least I got some songs out of it.
Yeah, funnily enough, we played Anxiety Attack on this programme about a month ago. So, okay then, so and one more question before you play for us. Have you added to your collection of the History Of series? So we know you did the History of China and The Fall and the Velvet Underground and various other things. Have you added any more to the list?
I certainly have. One recent one is the story of Chile, which I think came out very good. I put a lot of work into doing an illustrated song telling Chilean history. I also did Well, I don't want to reveal. You know, I've been doing these things sporadically at the concerts too. So,
Oh, have you?
Got a few surprises to pull out at the live gigs, as I like to do. These illustrated songs, a couple of them per night. So I do have some new ones.
And you're doing some tonight, are you?
Yeah, we'll try at least a couple.
Brilliant. Okay, well, don't do one until you hear me shouting.
All right.
Great. You're dead kind. All right, then. So what songs are you going to do for us and in what order?
Oh, well, should I just announce the titles now?
Yeah, might as well, eh?
Okay, so we'll start out with a song called Relaxation, and then we're going to do a song called Tylenol PM, and then we're going to do the song LPs from our most recent official album.